guys, welcome to the Unpopular Opinion, where three beautiful ladies give you our unpopular opinion. So today we're talking about, what are we talking about, Fiona?
Relationship red flags.
Relationship red flags. So what are those things that you see in a man or a woman? Now for us, because we are women and we are into men, we are going to tell you what we feel.
Don't speak for me.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I apologize. We are women that I believe may be into human beings. Anyway, so as women, we're going to be speaking about the relationship red flags that we see that would make us run for the hills, and things that maybe you who are watching this should look out for when you are in a beginning relationship. Fiona, take the floor.
Okay. I'm not going to say like beginning relationship, but because for me, a lot of these are things that I saw later. I didn't see them in the beginning, but I guess now I can, like identify them. I wrote my notes. Okay. One is someone who isn't secure in who they are. And that could manifest in so many ways. I know. I think that could manifest in so many ways. For me, one of the things that came to mind is I was in this relationship. It feels like forever ago now, and this person, I don't come from a rich family. We're not even upper middle class. We're there, and he came from maybe they had less growing up, right? And it was one of those things of he worked his way into a certain place where he could do this and that for his family, and I remember they were doing like renovations on the house that they'd grown up in. And it was still, I think, like midway or whatever. I didn't know. I had never been there. And so we reached like this point in our relationship, because we dated for like a long time. So we got to this point, and it's like, meeting parents, stuff like that. And then, but he was so like, can't. And I didn't understand why. And then eventually she was like, oh yeah, because like, because the house we live in is like done and
so he's
nice.
a bit ashamed of
and then
the beginning.
And I was so taken aback, because I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because even as the house we are in, we got it when? Like in our adulthood.
Yeah.
And
Even
I just
if
felt
you
like,
grew up in it.
yeah, it just felt like, do you think that's why I'm in this relationship? I'm looking for someone in some kind of, and that was just like one example, but those types of insecurities manifested throughout our relationship. And I didn't pay attention to them as I should have. And those things ripple in your relationship. He's insecure about himself, so he thinks, like this one time I get invited to a wedding, and it was a card for one person, and I didn't go with him. And it just happened to be that those guys' family is kind of important. I had this thing of you with your important friends from fancy families, and I was like, what are we doing here? What? And I was like, bro,
what is the problem with fancy families?
I was like, I got a card for one. What do you want me to do?
I didn't make the card. I didn't give myself the card.
But friend, you see those things? Please just exit stage left. Exit.
True.
Prim, what's your opinion?
I think I really, really agree with her. When you find someone that is insecure in who they are, it means that they're going to drag it out on you. They'll always punish you for being that confident in yourself. They'll always, because at some point they'll have to make sure that they bring you down to a level where you also doubt yourself. They'll make sure that they bring you to a point where you don't feel like you're something, okay? Because that's when they can control you well enough.
Someone needs to be comfortable that, okay, I grew up, even if you grew up poor.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You have to have worked through that trauma, whatever trauma that brought in, that gave you, you need, by the time you get into a relationship with anyone, even if they were just slightly above your own means, that what you grew up with, or way above, it shouldn't be about how I grew up and how you grew up. It's now two adults meeting and starting a relationship and starting a life if you're going to get married. So how do you need to be able to deal with that trauma, that being poor, or and change your mind. Just because I grew up with a better I had a more privileged upbringing in terms of money, because what people need to also realize, just because someone grew up poor doesn't mean they were not privileged. Privilege comes in all shapes and sizes.
That's true.
Because you might have had both parents available, loving. you know? And for me, that emotional immaturity is a big red flag. To know that, look, okay, Claire grew up with you know, in a good home and stuff, but my dad was not physically there. You know, he was an amazing dad. I miss him. But my mom raised us. Our mom raised us. My dad very much provide everything we needed was there. You get, and yet I might meet someone who's had a very present father, had a very, you know, whose father, and I used to meet those people when I was a child, and I'd envy it. Not envy it, but I'd be like, I wish this was my dad. You know, and for as much as I don't really have daddy issues, I remember when I was a child, I envied that. So when I meet people who have these relationships with their father, it's nice to see. I don't have issues, I don't have any negative feelings, but then I'm trying to say that kind of of emotional maturity to be like, okay, they were more privileged financially, but we were more privileged. You know, and that's okay. Privilege comes in different forms and shapes. And even if you didn't have any privilege, you're in a different space. The way you grew up is different. You cannot blame your adulthood on your childhood. You as an adult cannot be blamed on your childhood. As a child, you couldn't help it. As an adult, you can help your thoughts. You can change you can talk to someone and get over that trauma, you know, that kind of thing. So for me, someone that is emotionally immature and unwilling to deal with those issues is a big red flag for me.
Someone, they won't even recognize that there's something to be dealt with there. Okay, for me, one of the biggest, you know, red flags that I can, you know, tell you about is someone who brings out the worst in you. Let me tell you something.
With this person and you are
crazy. Yes, let us stop lying that, oh, that's how it is. Relationships are hard. You see, you're fighting. You know, you've seen people like you're fighting. You know, each time we talk, it's, oh, babe, you know, how is your boyfriend? We're not talking. This and that happened. We're not talking. Let me tell you something. Do not be lied to, okay? That this is how it should be. Struggle love. Do not let no one lie to you that struggle love is how it should be, okay? If you find someone that, you know, that always tries to gaslight you, someone who tries to, you know, really over oppose you, something like, it's always friction. You find yourself mad, constantly angry and having to over explain yourself and whatnot. That's someone who brings out the worst in you. Always, you know, like step back and ask yourself, do I really have to be with such a person? And why do they make me feel like this? You know, you talk about your feelings and someone's like, too emotional, so the problem is that you're always too emotional. The problem is that you take things too seriously, but they just offended you. That goes for both friendships and relationships. Okay, like someone's just like, but you're too serious with life.
It reminded me of, I remember I was having a hard time in a relationship, and my friend Delia, what up sis? She told me, I remember I was talking to her about it, and she told me, but Fiona, it's not supposed to be that hard. And I paused, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's just that simple.
It's like, it's not supposed to be that hard. Like, if every day is a struggle and a struggle, you need to be asking yourself, what's up? Like, what is up? Anyway, but that has just taken me back to that. I think another thing for me is someone who, I don't know how else to put it, but someone who wants to love you conveniently, like in a way that's just easy for you. And again, it's not supposed to be difficult, but you know, every relationship is compromise. There's compromises that we all make because we are completely different people coming from completely different
places.
The
love should not go through, the love should be constant. It should not be when you feel like it.
So there's that convenient love of like, for example, love languages, we all express so differently. If your love language, what is your love language?
Acts of service.
Right. So if acts of service is a big deal for you, and maybe for me, it's not something I'm used to. I learn to do it because I love you and I want to be with you. You know, I make those changes.
I tell you, don't give me gifts when gifts don't matter to me. That's convenient for you.
Exactly. So that kind of convenient, you want to love me in a way that's easy for you. It even makes me emotional thinking about it because like the feelings are going to come, like I feel them in my throat, the mango. that kind of wanting to love you conveniently, sis.
Yeah.
Run.
Not cis man also. Please run away.
Bro. Run. Now for me, I think it's Pretense, one. Second, the two big ones, there are many of course, but my two big ones is Pretense. Like behind people's back, you're a different person, and in front of people, you're a different person. For me, be you. If you is what people, be you. You know, yes, be you. Even if it means people don't like you, just be you. But this business of when we're in people, as soon as we're with people, you have this face. And then when we are in private, you have another face. Red flag, girls, run. Guys, run.
I think he is a mad person.
Exactly. Then I go to my friends and be like, Manai, that guy, bichi, and you're like, but it's clear. Yes, me too. Me too. Don't do it. Don't do it, girls. Don't do it, guys.
That person will make you feel insane.
Yes.
You're like,
There's something wrong with
mad?
Yes. They'll make you feel like there's something wrong. But in your heart that there's something wrong, you know? But everyone's like, but this guy is such a great guy now, and appreciate him. You understand? Kumbe, the person they see is different from who you're experiencing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, even people watching us, have been through that. If he or she are different in front of people from the way they are when you're in private, that's a big red flag, because once marriage happens, once he is permanent, once she is permanent, that means it's just never going to change. He has got you now, his bad manners are going to come out. She has got you now, her bad manners are just going to come out. Where are you going to go? You're married. You know, so that. The second thing is this business. Now for me, in relation to a man, because I am a heterosexual. So for me, I would say a man who comes and tells you, I don't wear a shirt that is not ironed by my wife. Brother, I don't eat food that is not cooked by my brother.
Yes.
Hey, what? Red flag, I run. Why? I hate cooking. But also, banana. This is 2021. I have a job. Me, Nance Kobe here as I sit, I have 3 jobs. You understand? I'm a teacher, business owner. I do be on Buswave. I'm a content creator. And then I'm also, now this week, I do this as a third job. You get, on top of being a stay-at-home mom, I work from home. On top of being a sister, a friend, a what. Then I also add cook to my, which I don't like. I personally don't like cooking. But even if I did, I feel like a man needs to be able to be like, okay, this woman is all round. I can give her some slack. You know, she does not have, I don't need to make cooking a must for her to add on to that so many different jobs. Because, I mean, if you said that, okay, you sit at home and cook, me, I will take care of the bills. And not just bills, you know, you're going to sleep in Mizigo and whatnot. No, you need to match the salary we could both make together and keep us up there. Then I can cook. I can sit home and cook. You know, but if you're just going to be there, no questions asked, no negotiation. Me, I need to eat food that my wife has cooked. Before you had a wife, who was cooking? Do you understand? Who was cooking? You get, I mean, are you going to die if a maid cooks your food? You know, because I'm pretty sure at home your mother is not the one cooking for you if you're at home. You know, before you get married, who is ironing your shirts? Over they iron themselves.
I saw that with my dad, and I still maintain that he was a really good father. He was just not a good husband. I say that, and I remember I ended up resenting my mom for it. Like, why would you stay with someone like that? Like, why? I was so angry as a child, because I remember him saying that, oh, you cannot. My mom was an educated person from a very good family. Her father believes in educating girls and whatnot, and here is a boy from Tunga Morubari coming and telling someone's daughter that stay home and take care of my kids. And my mom has always wondered why I try to be so opposite of her, but it's because I presented how she was that person. My dad would not eat food cooked by, by maids, and yet he's a man who used not to eat in hotels. He used to say they put binzari. So he used to come home for lunch, and then he's like, Mugore, you have to have prepared the lunch, and that thing really makes me angry to this day. So I don't think I knew watching my father that I didn't want a man like him. I didn't want a husband like him. Yes.
I felt that because I have that same feeling of, like I'm grateful that my parents have stayed together for the time that they have. Like we've been so fortunate. I know it's not something that everyone got to have, but I know for sure that the kind, if it is in the plan for me to marry, I know that the kind of man I want to marry is not that one.
Yeah.
I admire that they've been able to stay together for so long, but their relationship is not what I aspire to. And I think it's a big thing in our generation. I think a lot of us are like, man,
good for you too.
Good for you.
Yeah, and you realize that the reason they've stayed together most times is because the women, our mothers, had to, put a lot of their happiness aside for these marriages to work, for our parents to actually be together. Yes.
Now, for me, fortunately, this is not what I experienced with my parents. My father let my mom do, not even late. They did whatever they wanted. Like my mom didn't have to cook. You know what I mean? My dad would come and eat the food that is there. The maid cooked. My mom cooked when she wanted. And I don't want to go too much into their relationship because that's none of my business. But I saw my dad let my mother be a woman, a strong, educated woman. You get, if you want someone to iron, cook, clean, lay bed, what, marry a maid. You get, why are you marrying a woman that is of the same educational standard as you? You don't expect that from yourself. Why are you expecting that from your wife? Now, of course, again, on the other shoe, if your wife likes doing these things, absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. If that's what your wife wants to do. If you as a person don't mind doing this for your husband, but for me, in that hour I take to cook, I can create a business real quick. Do you get what I mean? Real quick, I can create an additional income. Do you understand? For us, so that our child can, instead of going to Nakabiri Pitti's say primary school, they can go to Rainbow. Do you know what I mean? Or they can have a good comfortable life. And that's what I want.
For me, one of my biggest red flags, I think, would be jealous. So, you can actually date someone who's jealous of you. Did you know that? A wife who tell you, there's this huge opportunity, they know that you're very passionate about this thing, and it comes through, and then the person is like, so you're going to leave us like that? So you've decided to choose your career over us. So you've decided that you don't love your family enough. Or someone who tells you, like for example, you can't be, a content creator. I feel like you're really out there. So you've chosen your friends over meeting me today. So have you chosen your family over hanging out with me today? Don't have a partner, man or woman, that is, jealous of your growth. Someone needs to celebrate your growth, celebrate your achievements.
Even when it's
yes.
friends, relationships.
And a lot of times people often think that men should be growing more than women. Where is it written? Even in the Bible. Where is it written? It's not written anywhere. I might have we are human beings. First leave man and woman. I can be better in some areas than you. You can be better in some areas. Like, who says a woman needs to cook better than a man? Where?
It's okay.
Who says that a man needs to make more money than a woman?
Anyway, I think the one thing, because I know we're getting to last minutes, but I really wanted to say, I think, when stuff you've experienced, that's when you see it so clearly. So for me, someone who is constantly reminding you why you need them.
Oh God.
Someone who is, I remember so clearly, to this day, I can remember where I was. I was at my parents' gate, and I was on a phone call with this boyfriend at the time. And I don't know how we got to that point in the conversation, and then he told me that I don't remember how he said it, but he said you're going to get to 30 or 31 and not have someone. Do you want to risk that? Guys, look at me. Me. cute, intelligent, me.
You
That's
being
how I was-
reduced.
So this guy was saying that you're going to need him when you're 30.
right,
Don't show you.
Don't misuse this relationship because you might just
You might at 30 you might get you and you won't have anyone. No one's going to love you.
you at your age. Why are you behave? Why aren't you begging me more? Why aren't you?
Wait, how old were you?
I was, 29, 28, around there. I was like 28, 29.
In other words, your clock is ticking and I'm going to save you.
Friends. And that was a pattern. Someone who keeps telling you, you know me this, you know me.
Someone once told me as well that I'd like to see the man that marries you because you're not going to get a man to marry all of you. You need to reduce. That's basically what he meant.
They try to change you.
They did, they do, yes, they did. Can you imagine, like, red flags, guys? You need to have
There
someone.
are so many. We cannot, unfortunately, keep everything in this video. But
Yeah.
Tell us.
So we want to know
Because
from
also when
you.
we're commenting, we'll
Yeah,
actually keep
we'll be engaging with you. So
more.
let us
We'll be
know
telling you
what are your red flags. Like, what are the things that these people have said to you, man or woman? We should do a part 2. Yeah, maybe we should do a part 2 and they tell us what their red flags are and we can talk about them. Yeah. All right, guys. That's all for today. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.